sunny ways, my friends, sunny ways.
So the answer to that is to stop being stupid.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
We have recently switched to drinking water bottles out of water out of when we have water bottles out of plastic. Away from plastic towards paper, like drink box water bottles, sort of thing.
Well, Lottie frickin' God!
You're ready to fight, aren't you? I can feel it!
I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister.
Is this true?
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
Sorry?
The servicing costs on the debt that you're going to have to carry, that you're adding to now, right?
Interest rates are at historic lows, Glenn.
Here's the funds.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
He's announcing a catalog, everybody! Hey, give him a round of applause! Come on, give him a round of applause! You can't afford a home. You might end up in a tent. Your rent is doubled, but hey, you've got a brand new catalog.
When I'm prime minister, I will keep my promises. Now, another promise. Let me try again.
A lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but
Like who?
I don't know who, but...
Well, you're the one who asked the question, so
Yeah.
you must know somebody.
We need to trigger an axe the tax election as soon as possible.
We'll do it live. No, we'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Yeah, that's all that's coming off. There's nothing else coming off, yeah. I'm not Justin Trudeau here.
Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. Welcome to Friday Night Fringe right here live on the channel. It's good to see you guys here. It's good to have, well, our final Friday Night Fringe from Calgary. That doesn't mean we're done altogether. There's still going to be one more live stream on our final evening in Calgary. I will definitely be broadcasting to you guys this upcoming Tuesday. So keep your eyeballs peaked for that. With that being said, ladies and gents, let's make it a good show. Let's see for our final Friday Night Fringe if we can break a viewer record in the live stream. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button, the like button below the stream. Let's see how high we can get our viewers tonight. Let's see how everybody's doing. Chime in. Let's get a good old-fashioned roll call going on in here. I forgot to introduce Mrs. Fringe.
Yes. Oh.
We're joined by the beautiful Mrs. Fringe.
You're so used to me being here, you don't even introduce me anymore.
I'm so exhausted from packing. I've got a massive brain fart going on. Welcome to Mrs. Fringe. Let me know where you're watching from. Let's try and get everybody from one province in the country. See how many U.S. voters we can get tonight. We've been growing our U.S. audience recently. We'll try to get to everybody we can. Let's go, ladies and gents. I stand my ground coming in from Camrose. Welcome into the stream. Did that hurt? From Winnipeg. Welcome in. We got David Brewer joining us once again from Springfield, Missouri. Welcome in. Great to see you again. Terry Lee coming in from Cowtown. Welcome in. We got Mike TV Dub joining us once again from Winnipeg. Reg Porter coming in from beautiful downtown Spruce Grove. We will be broadcasting from there next Friday here on the Fringe. Won't be our new studio because I certainly can't get it built in 24 hours.
Not in a day. No.
But we'll be broadcasting from the new house in Spruce Grove. Welcome into OCD coming in from Vavenby, BC. Carbon Tax Carson, free memberships at 500 likes,
those likes
on the streams. Guys, get those likes in on the channel. Carbon Tax Carson, always good on his word. Welcome in. Great to see you here. We got Derek in from Sydney. We've got Lil Farmer coming in from Lindsay, Ontario. Welcome in. We got the on Thunderbow coming in
from Windsor.
From Windsor. Mrs. Fringe's name is spelled right today. Good job, Derek. Yeah, we at least got that part right today. Welcome, and it's good to see you here. We got Captain Calgary joining us from Calgary, of course. We've got Sarah coming in from Whitby. Welcome in to you as well. Good to have you here. Rob says he just rang the doorbell. Not a chance. Cottonmouth coming in from Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. Good to have you here. Welcome back in. Diane coming in from northern Alberta. Good to have you here as well. We got Rodney from Newfoundland. We got Steph joining us from Montreal. Welcome in. We got David from Southwest Ontario. North 49 RC joining us once again. Good to have you in here. We have David joining us from High River. Wesley Snipes joining us from Lethbridge, Alberta. We have Ron coming in from Southeast Nebraska. My God, that's amazing. Welcome in. Debbie joining us from Lloyd. We got Legally Blind Design coming in from Carsland, Alberta. Welcome into the stream. We got Becca CRI joining us again from Lloyd. Welcome in. Currently in Pennsylvania. Wow. I know Becca drives a truck for a living. That's amazing. Always nice to see the country. Thank you for joining us tonight. I am 1984 joining from Kelowna. Great to have you in here. We got Jacques from Coopus Casing, Ontario. Once again, Sarah's joining us from sunny California. Welcome in. Princess Thickness joining us from Montreal. Welcome in. Makeup Junkie coming in from Lethbridge, Alberta. CB chiming in. The new housing design catalog sucks. We're going to talk about that tonight. CB, I don't know if you guys know this. He's a very good friend of the channel. He helps out a lot with the research that goes into this channel. Definitely one of my right-hand advisors. Sent me a link to this design catalog. Now, I will be frank, I haven't had the time to look at it yet. So we're going to...
busy this week?
Very busy. We're going to get into it. Well, he sent it to me about a half hour ago. But we're going to go into it real time and react to the new design catalog. Oh, boy, I can't wait. Bruce coming in from Vaudreuil. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Quebec. Welcome in. Queen Esther coming in from Essex, Ontario. Oh, no chair, and forgot to introduce her. Derek, not good. You know what? We were looking at chairs today, although Mrs. Fringe said not until we move. Welcome in. Who we got here? JD from South Carolina. JD from SC. Good to have you in here. We've got Sneaky Dangerous. Hey, everybody. First time sitting in live, tuning in from Ontario. I want off the liberal ride. Yes. We all do. Welcome into the stream. Welcome to the Fringe. It's good to have some new folks in here. Over the Road Life coming in from Texas as well. Welcome in. Great to have you here. We've got Steve from Eastern Quebec. We've got Orca from Ontario. Mrs. Fringe is giving me the tap. We got to get caught up in the stream. Just before we get started on the actual program, folks, some honorable mentions. David Bell becoming a new member of the Patriots Club. Welcome to the Patriots Club. Arctic Ian as well, joining the Patriots Club as a new member. Just a heads up to anybody who's been on the fence about joining the Patriots Club. When you join the channel at $5 a month, not only does it support the channel, does it help us continue to make content for you guys, but it puts you in the draw every month that you're a member of the Patriots Club. Last stream of every month, which will be next Friday, we will be drawing one random member from the Patriots Club for one free item from our shop. Your call, your choice, any item you want. All you have to do is become a member. I want to share something actually while we talk about that, because we have a new shirt in the shop, and I probably should have had this ready to go, but let's share it before we get into memes. Let's share it with you guys, because if you're ever on the fence about joining that good old Patriots Club and helping out the channel, there is a new design out for you guys. These Smoking Skull Canada First. Let's see if we can't get that a little larger for you guys. Amazing designs. I love these t-shirts that they have. They look absolutely amazing. The pictures don't do them justice.
No.
They are on sale right now. If you guys want to grab those. Of course, there's the Senseless Shill coming in for the night. Go grab some merch from the store. Get your Canada First gear over on the store. Mods will be posting a link to the shop in the channel. Shout out to our mods again as well. They do a great job here on the channel. Let's get into memes.
Yeah, that's what we're all here for.
Isn't that what you guys come for? You certainly don't come to see this good-looking face. At least one of the faces. You come here for one of them. Let's get into the memes. That's what everybody's here for, shall we? Let's get started tonight. I love this one. CB sending me this one. It says here, Pierre Polyev hurts your feelings. I'm writing you a prescription for 2 testicles. I love that. Ingrid Stewart with a $10 super chat. Hi, guys. Hit the Fonzie. Love you all. Ingrid, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Welcome in to Ingrid and her husband coming in from Okotoks, Alberta. Great to see Ingrid and Charlie joining us again. Let's get to the next one. I love this one. Mark Carney. There's the emissions cap. Look what Trump's tariffs have done. If you guys missed it this week, Mark Carney, the very cringeworthy press conference, once again yelling at journalists who question not only his finances, but his opinions, since he really has no power right now. Keep in mind, he's not prime minister. He's a stand-in. He doesn't have a mandate, so he's not prime minister. He's leader of the Liberal Party. That's it. But of course, yelling at reporters, stating that Justin Trudeau did not cause our financial problem in this country. It was caused by Donald Trump and his tariffs. We were just fine. We were just fine.
Let's see who's been in office longer, right?
There was no inflation. There was no money printing. There was no...
Trudeau or Trump is only 3 months in.
Yep.
Trudeau is 9 years in.
Well, so Trump's about 2 months in. Mark Carney is about, what, a week? A week and a half?
Yeah, but they blamed it on Trudeau, and he said it was Trump.
He said it was all Trump. So we didn't have any inflation. We didn't have a housing crisis. We didn't have crime. We didn't print billions of dollars or send money to Ukraine. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
What is unbelievable, Goldwing Ben gifting 5 unacceptable Fringe memberships to the Patriots Club. Welcome to all 5 of our brand new Patriots members. Thank you so much for your generosity. Let's get to the next meme, shall we? I love this one. After Donald Trump, of course, famously giving his endorsement to Mark Carney this week. I don't know if you guys noticed, if you follow me on Twitter, good old Fringe gave Mark Carney an endorsement as well.
And I do have to say, I was very confused. I read it 3 times, and Derek's like, I don't think you read it properly. I was like, I don't think I did either.
She didn't understand the joke.
He had to call me and explain it to me.
So for a lot of people who lost their minds saying, Derek, what are you doing? Why are you endorsing Mark Carney? Well, Donald Trump, of course, endorsing Mark Carney, saying he'd rather work with a liberal. Now, 2 things can be drawn from that, of course. Either what he's stating is that the liberals are weak and he enjoys rolling over them and getting whatever he wants, or what he's doing is playing the field in the old 4D chess by promoting Mark Carney to essentially cause confusion amongst those with Trump derangement syndrome.
His Canadian haters will not vote for him because Trump has...
He wants to work with him.
Yeah.
Here we go. I like this one. Pierre Poilievre is Trump. Trump prefers Mark Carney. Average Canadian socialist. I love the meme. It paints a very, very wonderful picture. OAO saying, I sent you a video earlier this week about that. Yes, I did take a look at it. I had to make a video on the subject. It didn't make the cut, unfortunately. And it's not that it was a bad video. It's just I ramble a lot. We have to figure out what's getting in there, what's not. But thank you for sending that my way. This community is so great, by the way, keeping me informed, bringing the news to me, highlighting me on Twitter, letting me know what's going on. Not only is the community great, but Save Canada just became a new member of the Patriots Club. Thank you so much for that. Welcome to the Patriots Club. Next meme, shall we? If you guys saw, speaking of Mark Carney, if you saw his press conference from Alberta this week, I don't know why he thought he should come to Alberta as he dressed up to play with the Edmonton Oilers. Now, I put out a tweet on Twitter about how he holds a hockey stick like a poser. But if you saw the Steelworkers, you've got here John B., who's this guy right here. You remember when Justin Trudeau met with the Steelworkers in Ontario and the one guy badmouthed them? Well, nobody here would shake his hand. The Pleb did an amazing video on this. I was going to cover it, but I said, yeah, the Pleb's already got it. I can't jump in on that. Steal his thunder. But it's important to highlight this because it's absolutely hilarious. Mark Carney walked up, no charisma, totally looked down on these workers, by the way. They all refused to shake his hand. Here's the tweet from the guy who's standing right here in the red arrow. I'm the guy in the black hard hat. I didn't want to be there. I vowed not to shake his hand. I told the organizers that I wouldn't. Isn't that hilarious? Absolutely class act from this guy. Not only verifying on social media that he was there.
I love that he needed to because it paints a good picture for Carney here.
Why would anybody in Alberta want to shake his hand? I don't understand. Well, the Edmonton Oilers did. They sold out.
Yes.
For Mark Carney. Canadian guy, $2 super chat. Did you get the song parody lyrics I sent you? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I'm sorry if I didn't. A lot of emails go into the old spam. Sometimes it gets overflowed. If I missed it, I apologize. I didn't get it. At least I don't think I did. I don't remember getting it. So my apologies. What's funny about Mark Carney with the Edmonton Oilers? Let me pull this out for a second because I want to pull up the tweet I put out about Mark Carney because before I forget, Mark Carney with his hockey stick. If any of you play hockey or even just watch people play hockey, especially even kids, if you watch kids play hockey, you know
how to hold a stick.
Hang on. The stream froze again because of the stupid browser. You know how to hold a hockey stick. But you can tell when new kids get on the ice for the first time, they don't know what they're doing. No. Take a look here. Here we go. Here's Mark Carney holding a hockey stick. Canadian guy. Oh, hold on. Why is this program misacting on me tonight? Canadian guy, $2 super chat. Mark Carney couldn't score on Andrew Roycroft. So he missed an open net shot.
Open net.
Look at the way he's holding this hockey stick.
Well, look at the way he's standing.
And he's standing. I don't know if you guys can see here. The skates. You can see it down here in this photo. Look at he's wearing trainers or guards on his skates.
No, it's a skate over his shoe, it looks like almost.
Shot block guards. I mean, somebody says they're goalie skates. Again, when I played hockey, goalies just wore regular skates. But look at this. Like, he wanted to play for the Edmonton Oilers so bad and go out on the ice, and he can't even hold a stick. What a poser. This is the guy who wants to run our country. So not only does he lie about everything, but he lies about wanting to play hockey, being a goalie. Even if he was a goalie, this isn't how you hold a hockey stick.
Does anybody believe anything he says at this point?
I mean, he's so fake. Oh, and he's holding P-Water American beer in the picture.
Oh,
a Budweiser.
Support Canadian.
With gay beer signs behind him. Isn't it funny that we've blocked American beer and American alcohol, but here he is right holding a Budweiser? Good old Mark Carney. Well, he did move his companies in fair game to the United States. So why shouldn't he drink American beer? Speaking of Mark Carney and the blaming of Donald Trump, if you saw what was going on this week, we have a great article from Mrs. Fringe this week. Somebody says there's a Reg saying that's why the Oilers lost. I mean, it's the Oilers, but I'll go in with that. And it really sucks too, because the Edmonton Oilers, my youngest son, or my middle-aged son, my middle child, he loves the Edmonton Oilers for some reason. I'm guessing it's McDavid, and he's asked me to take him to a game, but the Edmonton Oilers sold out by inviting Mark Carney in. First it was Rainbow Hockey Tape. Now it's Mark Carney joining the game. I don't know if I want to support the Edmonton Oilers. If you think about
just go when they're playing the Jets. And
I'll go when they're playing the Jets. At least I can cheer on my Jets. Here we go. This week in the United States, a lot of people attacking Tesla dealerships. I know people probably saw the video we put out earlier this week showing a Tesla dealership in Las Vegas that was lit on fire. Of course, Donald Trump going full bore on the law, stating that anybody participating in this is going to be put up to the full extent of the law. Again, when they talk about insurrectionists and they talk about those who came into the Capitol and how they got punished with jail, Trump's returning the favor.
But a criminal is a criminal.
Criminal's a criminal.
I mean, why should they get away with it?
Well, they shouldn't. Away from it. Jay Peterson, $5 super chat. Carney made a big deal about playing goal for Harvard. He played a total of 5 minutes in one game. There you go.
I doubt he even played 5 minutes.
Yeah, he cried for his mom. Here's our last meme. The new Tesla calendar is out. Just in case you wanted to look at some really nice Teslas. This is the new Tesla calendar as people across the United States mad at Elon Musk because he's looking up government corruption, because he's dealing with the corrupt government of the United States. Canadian guy, $2 super chat. At least you're not a Leafs fan. Yeah, I mean, look, everybody's got to cheer for an underdog. They say that a large percentage of the country are mentally handicapped. If you ever want to know the statistics, just look up Leafs fans, and you'll find out just how many.
Well, that's one way of putting
There's
it.
There's a shot at it for you. Boom, zing. When we talk about the arson that's gone on, Jonathan, hang on. Fringe and Mrs. Fringe, what do you think of these executive orders from Trump? I haven't looked into those yet. Sorry, you'll have to forgive me. I'm assuming this is an American viewer. I don't know the executive order numbers, so I don't know a lot about them, at least off by heart. I'll go back and watch the chat after the stream. I'll do a video on it. How about that? I'll do a video on it.
Earl's wife hates you right now.
David saying, lay off my Leafs. Okay, look, guys, it's just everybody makes jokes about Toronto. Come on. At least it could be worse. You could cheer on the Senators, right? Like, Mrs. Fringe has a great article. We're talking about what's happening at Tesla dealerships. If you guys heard this week, Donald Trump, of course, going full bore on the law for those who are breaking the law and showing hatred towards Elon Musk. Keep in mind, Elon brought home a couple of stranded astronauts this week from space that had been stuck up there for 280
9
days.
months, yeah. And they were only supposed to be up there for 8 days.
And he's also uncovered over $100 billion in government waste. But hey, let's burn down his dealerships because Orange Man bad, Tesla man bad.
But he's not the only one you're hurting.
If you want to have a good laugh as to one thing that happened, keep in mind, one of the guys that was setting fire to one of Elon's charging stations is about to face up to 20 years in jail. How he's about to get 20 years in jail, how he got caught, is what we're going to talk about in tonight's article. I'm going to let Mrs. Fringe take it away.
Whoop, whoop. Hapless anti-Musk activist sets himself on fire after attacking South Carolina Tesla charging station with a Molotov cocktail.
So the guy set himself on fire, trying to burn down.
Shocking. Of course he did. A hapless astronaut, I had that in my mind, who tried to burn down a Tesla charging station in protest at President Trump and Elon Musk ended up setting himself on fire, according to authorities. Daniel Clark Pounder, 24, burned down 3 EV chargers in a South Carolina parking lot Friday, where he scrawled,
F Trump,
and long live the Ukraine, according to federal prosecutors.
Hold on here. Long live the Ukraine. Do you know how much flack I get every time I say the Ukraine on this? So the article...
it's not about you.
It's Ukraine. Second of all, doesn't this guy look like a registered sex offender? Doesn't he look like the kind of guy that would burn down a dealership? I mean, he's gonna love jail.
Oh, yes.
That hair? Oh. Guys in jail are going to love him. They're going to love him. Keep going. Let's go.
He was seen throwing 5 Molotov cocktails, one of which left him on fire, according to witnesses who saw him fleeing the North Charleston lot, WCBD reported. Witnesses said that the suspect had accidentally caught their own back on fire while throwing the devices, according to an initial police report obtained by the local outlet. Clark Pounder, a mechanic from James Island, was arrested later on Friday after the police issued a public appeal to help find him. It was not clear how badly hurt he'd been by the fire.
Wait a minute. So his last name is Pounder?
Yes.
He's going to go to jail and his last name's Pounder. Anybody see the irony in that one?
While we will defend the public's right to peaceful protest, we will not hesitate to act when protest crosses the line into violence and mayhem, acting U.S. Attorney Brooke B. Andrews said in a statement, as reported by the WCBD. These kinds of attacks have no place in our community. We will remain united in our commitment to safety and respect for all, regardless of the political differences. Clark Pounder was arraigned in federal court on Friday afternoon and faces a maximum of 20 years in prison. That's an even worse picture.
Even worse picture of a registered sex offender going to jail.
Wow.
Look, I hope they throw the book at him. This guy...
A criminal is a criminal, and they're not hurting Elon Musk. It's not going to affect him. It's going to affect the people who work.
Tom is saying, Tesla. I can't wait when our attorney general gets a hold of them. I hope so. I hope they throw the book at them. There's Reg with the good joke there. Pounder will become Thumper. There you go.
I love
that. Absolutely. U.S. prosecutes criminals at least. Yeah, it's good to see. And again, jail not bail. Trump, of course, being very firm. Yeah. He's going to prosecute to the full extent of the law. Rightfully so. This is not peaceful protest. No. Damaging businesses like this, like Elon, if you have a gripe with Elon, while he's involved in Tesla, while he's the founder of Tesla, not the founder, but the CEO of Tesla, the dealerships have nothing to do with him. They didn't share his political views. They didn't go after corrupt politicians with Doge. They just sell cars for a living. They manufacture cars and sell them. So why is it okay? This is one thing that always shocks me about the party of tolerance when it comes to the left is they're the ones who talk about diversity, equity, inclusion, unless of course you disagree with them.
Yes.
Then it's, open doors. Let's go to war. Everybody get down and put up with what's coming your way. Now, let's move on to the meat and potatoes of what tonight is about. If you watched our video yesterday, good old Fringe brought to you that an election is going to be called more than likely this weekend. And the reason I say that, now I mentioned in that video, let's take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. We've heard this before.
The carrot on the stick's always been there over the last few years, especially that it's going to be a non-confidence vote. There's going to be a push. Jugmeat's going to turn tail and vote against the Liberals. We've heard it all. However, when multiple news outlets are stating, even the CBC, that they've been told by insiders within the House of Commons that Mark Carney will be calling a vote on Sunday, I think it's pretty safe to assume at this point we are getting an election. We are going to the polls. Again, Mark Carney taking full advantage of Orange Man bad.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't like the Donald. He doesn't want to go up against Pierre Poilievre because the Donald is going to massacre him. Donald wants to get his hands on Canada. He wants to come in and he wants to make sure that all of our products, like our dairy, our eggs, they're lowered. The tariffs are gone. Americans can start enjoying their money again. They will not feel the pinch of Canadians hammering down. It's one of the funniest things that people don't realize, that when you look at the dairy racket, the absolute racket of the dairy industry, the U.S. are paying astronomical tariffs on those products from Canada.
Yeah.
While Canadians are talking, they raised steel and aluminum. Tariffs from Canada have been in place for a long time.
Yeah.
It's not to say that we shouldn't be upset with the tariff war that's going on.
100%.
But for anybody to say that Trump is in the wrong, look at the money. Follow the money.
But he gave us a very clear warning. Just fix these things and it won't happen.
Diane Sylvain, $20 super chat. Carney once floated the idea of auctioning off the right to have children in his book, The Past BBC. In past BBC lectures, he asked, should there be a market in the right to have children? Carney is evil, according to Juno News. Thank you for the $20.
In the right to have children?
Yeah, Mark Carney wants population control. A lot of people have pointed me towards Mark Carney's book, and they've said, if you really want to know how bad he is, go read his book. I don't want to promote his book because I don't want him to make any more money.
Absolutely not.
Jerry
I'm
Lee.
already very scared of what this man's going to do. I don't really want to know the full truth.
Lemming Observes USA. Hey, let's do the thing. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the super chats, guys. Really appreciate it. Arthur, okay, $5 super chat. I thought tonight was about the Dragon's Lair interview. It's not.
It's coming, Andrew.
I'm sorry. Listen.
He's here.
Everybody wants Dragon's Lair, but you know what everybody wants more of than anything else in the world?
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
It's the lemmings that are going to be swayed in this election, in this upcoming election with Mark Carney, is absolutely crazy. We're going to get into that tonight. Canadian guy, $2 super chat. Harry Carey would have been a better PM. SNL's Harry Carey. Anybody, a monkey could do a better job. Danielle Smith came out this week to talk about how they're tightening up the legislations to ensure that the federal government has no stake in what happens with future boots on our neck from the federal government. She wants to make sure that Albertans can still get their products to some form of a market, that the oil in the ground that is rightfully ours, by the way, remains rightfully ours. The decisions that are made, including emissions caps, are blown out of the way. Well, now Mark Carney's mad. If you've watched his press conferences again, where he yells at everybody.
He's good at that.
Very good at it. Mark Carney now snapping back at Danielle. I want to show this because this, again, going into our election, these are the things people are going to have to watch out for. A lot of people don't like Danielle Smith on the left. Let's look at what Danielle tweeted out tonight. The new prime minister, which again, he's not, and his new environment minister are disagreeing publicly right now on how to impose a production cap on Alberta. But regardless of what they decide, it's not happening. Good on Danielle. Alberta will never allow Ottawa to cap our energy industry or the wealth it generates for Albertans. Here's our full statement below. Now, I will have a video on this, but again, it's good to see Danielle not bowing down to Mark Carney. She's not giving it in. She's fighting back. I think this is amazing. I think it's great. Over the next little bit, sorry, Mrs. Fringe had to step away for a sec. We got blah, blah, blah politics. Isn't that what we're here for? I thought that's what we're here for. I mean, the title of the show is about the election. Did I miss something? Maybe I missed something there. Here's sorry, I just caught that in my eye and had to laugh. It was funny. It's people have started to call the left in this with the Team Canada. They've started somebody had a really good term that I said I was stealing. They started calling them fakeriots and flaggots. And I tend to agree. These guys, what you're going to see now is them calling out Pierre, saying Pierre shouldn't be winning. And I've done another video again this week talking about Pierre coming out, talking about getting packages to high school students to get them into trades, to get them excited about getting straight into trade. So instead of taking the liberal path of giving fast track citizenship to 6,000 illegal migrants that were living here and working here under the table to build houses, we're going to get our own people trained with Blue Seal jobs. We're going to start pushing at the Ring of Fire. We're going to start unleashing the powerhouse of our country. Anybody who wants to stand against that at this point is not a Canadian patriot. Anybody who doesn't stand with that obviously wants to see this country fold. They don't want it to succeed. I don't know why anybody would be told we can unleash the power of our country, but you're just going to vote in a party that just wants to spend, print money, push you further into debt, push you further into being able to afford your lifestyle. That's where we want to be, right? We all want to be downtrodden and smeared by...
You'll have nothing and you'll be happy.
Yep. Absolutely. Save Canada, $10 super chat. If he calls an election, can he still invoke the Emergency Act over something stupid? He did say he would use emergency power even before he was corrupt placed in China. In the Liberal friend after all. So thank you for the super chat.
Yep.
I don't believe he can invoke the Emergency Act because they haven't recalled Parliament. So keep in mind that if he calls an election on Sunday, he would not have a seat in Parliament. He doesn't have the authority to operate within Parliament. Again, I covered a video on the custodial clause. And while it's just a gray area, he can't push any laws. He can't write any new bills.
No, he wasn't voted in. He's a step in.
I'm willing to bet if he can't put any bills forward, then he certainly can't invoke an emergency act or use any.
He would need to be voted in.
He would have to be given a mandate, or at least given the power to govern by the House. There would have to be a vote for him to have power within the House. Radio Reaction, great YouTube channel, by the way. Go follow him. Libs will be pushing all these ideas next week.
Oh.
Absolutely, they will. How many dumb Canadians are going to vote for this guy? That's the real question.
He's shiny and new.
A lot of them, and I talked about this on Tuesday's stream, that a lot of people are looking at it like it's a brand new car. It's a new coat of paint, lipstick on a pig. Justin's gone, so that makes it okay. Justin was the source of all the problems. They don't realize that Mark Carney brought back the majority of his woke, corrupt cabinet. They're
and
the same.
The majority of them are in the West.
Well, we all knew that, but David with the $5 super chat, are you concerned that Carney keeps stealing Pierre's policies, or is it a good thing because Pierre can call him out on it? Look, he can steal all he wants. The fact of the matter is that everybody should know at this point he's not going to implement them.
No, and everything he's said to this point has been called out as a lie.
And not only that, but the fact of the matter is that he can lie all he wants. As soon as he gets on the debate stage with Pierre, he's toast.
No,
I'm not concerned at all. I'm really not concerned. And again, a lot of people have cited the polls. Don't believe the hype.
No.
The polls are all fake. They're all fake. This is all the same.
They're paid polls to make it look better for.
If you don't believe me, just go back. I've often said American politics often overshadow what happens in Canada.
Yeah.
Go back and look at Kamala. Look back at Kamala running against the Donald. A lot of polls said that Kamala was going to steamroll Donald Trump.
Yep.
Right over top. She was going to bulldoze her way into the open bar at the White House. Donald came in and said, "You're fired." Donald got the job. It's not going to happen. I think Pierre still stands a very good chance of winning this election. Paul with a $2 super chat. Politics, though, talking about buying Tesla stock. Thought we'd be talking about buying Tesla stock. Not on this stream. No, I don't really advise people on what to buy. I know it was a joke, but no, I would never tell you what to buy in terms of stock. Jerry, $2 super chat. We should sell 5 million golden tickets for citizenship.
Yes.
Oh, God, could you imagine?
Oh, my word.
Canadian guy, $5 super chat. Ask Jeff Dunham's puppet Peanut once said, polish a turd, it's still a turd.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that we have a lot of, there's two things I think are going to be big factors in this very short election, because they're talking about going to the polls April 28th. If that's the case, I think what you're going to see Mark Carney push is, again, the UBI style benefits for workers, where they're going to say we're going to print money for anybody who can't afford anything because of the tariffs, because of where it's pandemic style spending. Doug Ford used those words specifically. I think people should be scared about that, because what you do have in certain parts of the country are not only some people who are too lazy to go and get a job that have been pushing for UBI for a long time. You've got people living in sanctuary cities that don't want to work or contribute into our tax system, that will happily take printed money. You've also got people who can't afford to live, saying, well, I'll own nothing and be happy. I'll just take a handout from the government because I sure can't afford my lifestyle as it is. They won't vote their way out of Mark Carney. They'll just agree because getting money or a handout fixes their problem temporarily like a Band-Aid. They don't realize what they're selling on the dotted line. You're giving away a mandate to a party that essentially wants to buy your soul for a couple of bucks. That's what I'm more worried about, is how many people are going to go for the carrot on the stick versus voting smart, voting on policy. Delicum1 with a $10 super chat. Quebec farmers have no choice but to dump their milk once the quota was reached. This is just pure insanity. Yeah, so that's been going on for quite some time. And again, that's where I say it's the
My
dairy.
grandparents would be rolling in their graves.
The dairy racket in Canada is absolutely corrupt. Something needs to be done about it, not just for Canadians. But again, I don't agree with the tariffs that we impose on Americans with that stuff. Paul with a $2 super chat, 7.5 million in Canadian golden tickets to immigrate. Oh my God. No, we want to vet people to come in. We want to make sure we're getting the right people coming into our country that actually want to contribute, get jobs, and pay into our
and then say
tax
we're only
system.
allowing 5 in, and then do the golden tickets.
Boomers imported immigrants. Well, here's the problem: is that again, there's a lot of smart people that watch channels like this. A lot of smart people in those generations that they love the Fringe. They love coming in here and hearing what the Fringe has to say. But there's a lot of boomer generation who still watch mainstream media, and they buy up whatever they're selling like crack.
Your dad is one of them.
Don't bring my dad into this.
I'm just saying.
I try to smack sense into him every time I see him, but he's getting there a little bit at a time. I'm slowly working him down, folks. But we're still getting,
because that's what they've always known. It's hard to believe that the news is not telling you the truth.
Marty up north was saying 70% of the people he knows will not survive under American capitalist principles. I mean, weed out the weak, I guess. I don't know. It's funny because when we talk about 51st state, I had a stream on Tuesday where I asked you guys, what do you feel is the solution for Canada? Because I stated I'm politically homeless. So what do you feel is the solution? I want to show you the poll that we ran on the YouTube channel, because I ran this the next day. After last night's stream, I got to ask, what is your solution to Canada's problems? 48%, keep in mind this was 4,000 votes. 48% said 51st state, 41% said fight for Canada, 11% said, I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell. How? Guys, that 11%, you guys, you're getting your cowbell. Mark Carney walking around and talking about printing money. We really need more cowbell. 300 comments on that as well. Good job on everybody for chiming in on that poll. But it shows that there's a divide. There's a split.
There is.
A lot of things are going to happen with this election. This election is the fight for our lives. It's the most important election we'll see probably within our generation. Jerry with another $2 super chat. Mr. Burns, oh, I'd like to present you with this plaque. Excellent. Mark Carney is Charles Montgomery Burns in disguise. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Freedom 51 says Denny. Look, the problem that we're facing as a country, and I talked about this on Tuesday, is that a lot of the people out of that 48% that voted in favor of 51st state, I'm willing to bet that a very large percentage of them do not want to think about surrendering Canada to anybody, even Donald Trump. But they feel with the political system that's in charge, with the crown over top the monarchy in our confederation, the way that our government has behaved over the last decade, they feel they don't have another choice. It's very tempting to be told you'll pay less taxes, you'll have better military, your money will be worth more, we'll have jobs, we'll be able to get our products to market.
It sounds great.
We'll drill, baby, drill. For a lot of people, it's, hey, that's an instant end to our problems.
Yeah.
What a lot of people forget in that clause is that Donald Trump is only around for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
At some point, someone else comes in and you're living under their rules, their house. Still probably better than living under the Liberals. But Danielle Smith this week even coming out saying that if the incoming prime minister, whether it be Mark Carney or Pierre Poilievre, does not address pipelines and our energy getting east, west, north, and south within 60 days, I believe it is, of taking office, it's going to create a national unity crisis within Alberta. She's threatening separation without saying it, because she knows that there's an ever-building pile of people in this province now that it's very, very apparent in the lingo going around Alberta right now that people want out.
Yeah.
At the very minimum, people want separation from Confederacy because they've had enough.
Not necessarily be the 51st state, but to leave Canada.
Oh, 6 months. 6 months, not 60 days, 6 months. Thank you. Thank you, CB. Thank you, David. My bad. Still 6 months to do something versus 6 years.
I mean, 6 months is still not a lot of time.
It's not going to be 6 months if Mark Carney wins the election. No. If Mark Carney wins this election, you're going to have civil unrest in Alberta. Because it's workers, it's citizens, it's people are going to be going to Danielle Smith's front door and saying, we've had enough.
Yeah.
We don't care if you don't want to do it. If you don't want to do this, I guarantee you, people are going to form their own party and they'll rise up. And if there's enough support with growing citizens saying enough is enough, Danielle will be gone and this new party will get in.
I saw a comment, Department of Find Out.
The Department of FAFO. People know what FAFO is. It's F around and find out. I'd rather go with what Gorilla Lover's saying here. Make it too big to rig.
Yep.
Pierre Poilievre did what I wanted him to do last week when we were talking about this. He finally came out and said, programs in place for high school students to get Blue Seal so we can get into trades. We want to tap into the Ring of Fire. We want to start unleashing the potential of our country. We want to create jobs. We want to stop these massive year delays on projects and give them the green lights to say, go ahead, build, expand, do what you have to do to get money flowing into this country. No more red tape. Thank God for all of that. That's what we've wanted for a long time. I'll tell you right now, I've said it before, Pierre's mentioned many times he's going to deport 5 million migrants, illegal migrants that should not be in this country. And a lot of our problems with healthcare, a lot of our problems with housing, a lot of our problems in general with crime would very quickly be depleted if we got rid of those 5 million illegal migrants.
The
and
catch
fixed
and
our
release
borders.
program would end.
It's jail, not bail.
Yeah.
We would see what Canada needs. And again, I think where people have often said, and I've even said too, look, he's playing the game. He's got to win those votes in places like Toronto. Keep in mind, Toronto's a sanctuary city, and a lot of its citizens are fed up with what's going on in their town. Their cars are being stolen overnight.
Yeah.
and put on shipping containers. Their cost of living is too much. Do you know you need almost $250,000 to put down on a property just to buy a house in Toronto? Like, isn't that insane for a first-time home buyer? Who's got that kind of money kicking around? Nobody. People are fed up, and I think their wallets are what is going to turn their vote. So anybody saying, are you worried Carney's going to take Pierre's policies? They're not enough. People know what the Liberals are bringing to the table. People want to change.
I hope the majority of them can see through it.
It's people are saying, so Derek says they'll still vote Liberal. Perhaps.
There are still some that will.
But this is where Pierre needs to put his teeth out. He needs to remind people.
Yeah.
Immigrants are going. No more printing money. We're saving money. We're gonna work with Trump on the tariffs, but we're not going to attack him. We're going to find a fair deal for Canadians and a fair deal for Americans.
Yeah.
That would be much more welcome than saying we're going to go dollar to dollar. We're going to fight. We're going to push back. Just work with the guy.
Going at a tariff war with America is not a smart idea at all.
CB saying pre-approved construction sites in 6 months to start working on the site. That's the way it needs to be. That's the way it needs to be. Everything in this country needs to become more affordable.
Yep.
It's not going to happen under the Liberals. No. One of the things that I was mad
about. We need somebody who's going to work for the country.
John saying it's a losing game if Pierre wants to fight Trump. I couldn't agree more. No matter what your position is on Donald Trump, it's like going after a guy with a. It's like attacking somebody with a stick who's holding a gun at you.
Yeah.
It's useless. You're not going to get anywhere. There's one part of this election that I'm worried about. I got a lot of flack for this tweet while I was laying awake at 3:00 in the morning because my dog wouldn't leave me alone. I had to tweet this out. Maxim Bernier. Now I know I'm going to make a lot of PPC bros mad here. I don't really care because it's truth at this point. Maxim Bernier went on PBD. He went on Alex Jones today. Let's look at Max's tweet first. Ask yourself, why is it that pandering Pierre repeats his stupid slogans 20 times a day about axing the tax, building the homes, but he never talks about reducing immigration? Yes, he does, except when he's forced to give a vague answer to a question from a journalist, even though that's what the majority of Canadians and his own conservative base want. It's because he doesn't care. He just doesn't want to talk about this issue. Until very recently, Pierre was pushing more immigration, and he very likely still wants that. I don't agree with that statement. So what I tweeted out today, as he said, ask yourself, I said, ask yourself, where has this guy been for the last 4 years, and why is he all of a sudden appearing when an election is being called like a groundhog? All Max cares about is splitting the vote and making sure the Liberals win. Even if you support Max, it should piss you off that he hides down in Florida and only pokes his head out every 4 years when an election is called. This isn't a leader. Max wants to split the vote. And this is dangerous. Max is running the campaign from his phone. Well, that
doesn't make it any better.
It probably. The problem with this, and I've said before, if I were to not know anything about politics and I sat with Maxim Bernier in a room and heard the things that he was pitching, the ideas he has, they're good ideas. But he doesn't have a seat. He doesn't have a party in the House of Commons. People aren't going to rush and vote for the PPC in this election. I've always said that I would love to see a minority conservative government with a PPC following closely behind to keep them in check in the House of Commons with a low Liberal, low NDP government. I think that would be ideal because the Conservatives and PPC share a lot of similar values. So before everybody thinks that I'm poo-pooing all over Max, I think he has good ideas. The problem is the vote splitting, especially in such an important election.
Yeah.
Parank Gia with the $5 super chat. I do not trust our election system thanks to the corrupt parliamentarian system we have. If the wanker banker wins and shuts down tankers, we're screwed. I don't think we're totally screwed because, again, Alberta's not going to allow them to step on our necks. I think again, you're going to see a lot of people move into Alberta if Mark Carney wins the election. And at some point, Alberta's going to say they're full. Keep in mind. Max is just trying to make some money. But that's the problem. PBD only had Maxim on because he was butthurt. Pierre turned him down, which was smart. It is smart. I mean, again, it's smart for Maxim to go on there and make a fool out of Pierre, but it's not doing anything to benefit Canadians.
No.
It's benefiting Pierre. Or Maxime, sorry. It's benefiting Max, not Pierre, not Canadians. You're screwing with our election. Stop it. Get some help. Paul, becoming a member for 1 month of the Patriots Club. Thank you so much. PPC is a fake political party. Donations are only there to pay Maxim Bernier an income.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, thank you for the super chat. Save Canada, $10 super chat. I love the fact that Liberals talk crap if they never bring up the Green Slush Fund or that expensive bathtub meetings. Makes me real surprised Carney had terrible stick handling on the ice. It's the new mafia.
Yeah.
Thank you for the super chat. Canadian guy, $2 super chat. Max is like Bonnie Crombie, a leader with no seat. I've said it before. I met Max. I bumped into him at the security lineup at Winnipeg Airport. I had a very good conversation with him. And at the time, his assistant gave me a card. He was talking about coming on this show. And it's not that I don't want Max to come on the show. It's come on the show when you have something relevant to talk about. Max has good ideas. But I don't want him screwing with our current election. One of the most important elections, like I said, of this generation.
Huge.
If you want to talk ideas, yeah, I'll talk ideas. God, I almost sounded like walking there. Yeah, I'll talk ideas.
I think
Max,
you've been practicing your walking.
I'll hang around. I'll listen to what you have to say, Max. But you're crazy. You're not going to be prime minister of this country. How? Max got called out on the show. He was called a libertarian. Well, there's nothing. I would say that if you asked me my position on politics, I lean more libertarianism because I like how they think. I like how they look at things.
Not this liberal group, but
libertarian.
Libertarian
is very different than liberal. It's we need Max to back off. If you guys like Max, I'm sorry to tell you the truth, but if we're going to come out the other end okay, Max has to back off. There's two people we have to focus on in this election.
Jagmeet still thinks he's going to be voted prime minister?
Oh, well, let him think that.
Oh,
let him stumble over that for as long as he wants. We have to worry about Mark Carney and we have to push Pierre. We've got to promote Pierre. Now, I've spoken many times. In fact, I shared text messages on this channel that I'd reached out to Pierre's people. Do not, and was ghosted because they don't want YouTubers. Please do not think I'm giving up on that front. I'm reaching out to his PR team, not his assistant. I'm going to try and talk some sense into them. I've left a message with Preston Manning, hoping that maybe I can get him on the horn, maybe talk some sense into him to go to Pierre and maybe try and point him in a direction. He doesn't have to come on this channel. It doesn't have to be this channel. I'd love for him to come on this channel because I want to talk about the real Pierre. I want to talk about what got him into politics.
Yeah.
I want to, because Jagmeet Singh's always talking about, oh, Pierre just went straight into politics. He's never had to struggle. He's never had to work hard. Yes, he has.
Yeah.
Yes, he has. And I want to showcase that. I want to showcase the human side of Pierre, the one that everybody can relate to. The guy who wants a better Canada and will shift people's views away from a uniparty or somebody who's just saying what you think you need to hear in order to get the vote.
He's fighting for the little guy, not the big guys.
But I want to get him on the channel. And if not this channel, I want to try and convince them that, and guys, you got to take Pierre on another channel. Talk to the people. Get your votes. You're crazy. Canadian guy, $2 super chat. Jagmeet thinks he can win. He's as senile as Biden.
Oh, he is.
I got to be honest. I'm going to miss that when he's gone. I'm going to miss that when Jagmeet's gone because it's funny to laugh at the very least, guys.
Really,
he's cannon fodder.
Really is delusional. Delusional. He's dreaming.
If the Liberals get in, Canada's finished. The West is done.
Yep.
I think, again, when we talk about, I don't want Carney to get in, but I think when we talk about him getting in, it's not really that we're done. I think there's going to be a full-on revolution. I think you're going to see one of two things happen in the West. You're going to see people in Alberta pushing Danielle Smith for separation. That front is going to mount. It's going to fester and boil over like a bubbling pot of water. And if she doesn't want to get on board with that, they'll form an independence party in Alberta, like a massive independence party. I know there is an independence party, but I'm talking a real one.
Oh, it's going to grow.
And you're going to get the support from Albertans because, again, as I showed in that poll, the rhetoric around Alberta is separation. It's not necessarily 51st state, but people are fed up. They're sick and tired of having the country's boot on their neck and being in confederacy with a monarch. They want to be able to work hard and prosper. Ingrid to the $2 super chat. We need to stand up for Canada. This is our last stand. This is endgame. This is our last push. That's why the thumbnail tonight, because we're in the endgame. Either Canadians are going to rally around Pierre Poilievre. And I've said before, folks, while many people say, well, you've scrutinized him. Yeah, I have. I think we should continue to. I think that all politicians should be scrutinized. We need to be fair. I'm not going to play fanboy to anybody.
Nobody's perfect, and a politician is still a politician.
Nobody's nerfect. But that doesn't mean I don't back him. That doesn't mean I don't endorse Pierre. I think Pierre has what it takes. I think
he's our best.
He's the best choice out of what we have. I think that Canada will do well under his leadership. What we need to focus on between now and April 28th is how do we help Pierre? How do we rally around Pierre? How do we get him the numbers he needs to form government and not a minority government? If he gets a minority government, Carney wins. Like everybody's been saying this whole live stream, we have to make it too big to rig.
Yep.
Earl with the $10 super chat. Think about what Canada is doing. I'm done with Ontario. My Canada stops at the Manitoba border east side. That gives us access to Hudson's Bay. I've heard a lot of people say that. Thank you for the $10 super chat, by the way. Have we not hit 500 likes yet? Are we not close?
Not.
How many likes are we at, guys? There's over 700 viewers in the multi-stream right now.
How many likes do we have?
Carbon Tax Carson was gifting memberships at 500 likes. Doesn't cost you anything, guys. 416 says OAO. Get those other 84 thumbs up.
Let's get there.
Get in there. Let's go. I will give you my undeniable promise that no matter which government forms office, I will hold them to account, that I don't play favoritism. I'm not going to put them on a pedestal. When they do something stupid, I'll call it out. But if you think I'm not going to cheer on Pierre in this election, you're wrong. I think he's what we need. I think Canadians need to get behind him, even if you disagree with some of his policies. And that's usually the argument that I have with people that say, well, I don't trust Pierre. I don't like where Pierre stands on a lot of things. Does that mean you like Mark Carney? Who would you rather have, Pierre or Mark? That's the choice. This isn't about policy anymore. It's not about, I like some things, but I don't like other things. It's how do you want to live the next 4 years of your life?
Yeah. When this country is already struggling so bad.
Pierre needs to get the podcast youth vote. I agree.
Yeah.
Again, I'll be talking to his PR people, not his assistant anymore, because his assistant thinks he knows more than everybody else. I'll be talking to him, or be talking to his PR, Jenny Byrne, and her team about trying to convince them that this is the best action they can take. Again, if it's going to be a short election, he's got to get out there and be in front of some form of a camera every single day between now and election day. It's go time. It's go time, baby. Cock of the walk. Carbon Tax Carson gifting 20 unacceptable Fringe memberships to the Patriots Club. Welcome to all 20 of our new members. Carbon Tax Carson, thank you so much. That is an unbelievably generous gesture. Up north of 49 saying he needs to be on social media.
He does.
He does. His PR people have to realize now's the time to put everything on the line. Go all in. whoever's going to vote, most people, what you have to realize that if we go in an election, if an election's called Sunday and they say April 28th, people who were going to vote for Pierre, people even in cities like Toronto, Southern Ontario, people who wanted to vote for Pierre are going to vote Pierre. They're not changing their minds at this point.
But he needs to sway the people who are going to vote for Carney to get him on board.
But that's where he's got to pull out the stops and show his teeth and not be so worried about what everyone's going to think.
No.
And start showing who he is.
Rip off the Band-Aid. Just do it.
Show us who we're getting. You're either going to go full bore and win, or you're going to sit back and fence, sit and lose. It's his election to lose. I keep saying that. If his team doesn't switch tracks here, it's going to be their fault if we're stuck with Mark Carney and nobody else's. They have the tools at their disposal to promote Pierre the way he needs to be put out in front of people. They can vet podcasts. They can go on certain shows. I do think it would benefit if Pierre found a way to get on Joe Rogan.
Yes.
I think he should go on Joe. But I do think he needs to get on a lot of Canadian political channels, small channels, big channels, not just Juno News or True North or any of those guys. It's got to be independence. He's got to show he gives a damn about hardworking Canadians and their small communities.
Yeah.
Canadian guy, $5 super chat. The tune of Bruce Springsteen, waiting election day, gonna vote Carney away. Waiting on election day. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Arthur, okay, gifting one acceptable Fringe membership to the Patriots Club. Arthur, thank you. Welcome to our new member of the Patriots Club. Somebody's saying to go on Theo Vaughn. I think Theo Vaughn would be very beneficial for him as well. And it's not because it's an American podcast. It's the reach that Theo Vaughn has. Jordan Peterson was a great pundit to sit down with and talk and share ideologies with and talk politics. But you can't just go on Jordan Peterson and play it safe.
Absolutely not.
You're going to have to sink your teeth in and show we're going to fight. It's all or nothing. Canada is on the line here. Our futures are on the line. Goldwing Ben, $5 super chat. He just has to use rally speech and explain how he will do it. That's one of the things I've said is that I'd love, and D-Hub saying Joe Rogan would interview him. Of course Joe would.
Oh, 100%.
They've just got to go on there and stop peeing their pants, worrying that they're going to be in trouble all the time if they talk to a YouTube channel and not legacy media or one of their favored media outlets. The time to play it safe is over.
Yeah.
We've worked up on this for over 10 years with Pierre at the helm for a couple years now. Go all in. It's all or nothing. He's the cock of the walk, baby. Arthur, okay, gifting another unacceptable Fringe membership to the Patriots Club. Thank you so much. Welcome to our new member. I saw Master of Snatch chiming in. Where's he at? Oh, he was thanking Arthur. Thank you as well, Arthur. CB saying step outside the box.
Yeah.
He's
got to do something because we're running out of time.
I would tell Pierre, if I had him in front of me right now and he said, what do I do? Fringe, you smart, charismatic businessman, what do I do? How do I win this election? I'd say, Pierre, just shit in your pants and dive in. Go all out. Give it all you got. And hope that when the chips fall, people see the real side of you. They relate to you. They understand what you want to bring to Canada, and they agree with your policy. That's it. Stop being scared about theft of policy. Stop worrying about the Liberals pointing fingers saying, oh, look who he's talking to. Look where he's going on. Those are his base. Of course he's going on those shows. That's his base. And a lot of people say, well, he doesn't need to go on shows with his base because his base are voting for him anyways. His base are what is promoting him. They're the ones that are towing the line for him.
Yeah.
Guys like the Pleb, Moose on the Loose, this channel, Clinton Jaws. Have you guys seen the views Clinton Jaws is getting these days? Get on there.
Yep. If they do the vote on the 28th, that would be the best birthday present for me.
Look at the distribution those channels get. Theo Vaughn, Joe Rogan. If you thought Jordan Peterson was going to do well for you, Joe Rogan's a slam dunk. Chris with a $7 super chat. Anyone who can volunteer to help your local campaign office. Podcast help and in-person conversations can also make the difference.
Yep.
I couldn't agree more. In fact, I'll be getting in touch with my Conservative MP in Spruce Grove. I've briefly been in touch with his office. I'll be encouraging those in Spruce Grove to do the same once we get up there. And again, those MPs, as well as my current MP, Stephanie Cousy, have my full support and endorsement. Arthur OK gifting another Unacceptable Fringe membership to the Patriots Club. Thank you so much. This is like Custer's last stand. We are at the precipice of this country either changing direction or crumbling. And not just crumbling because of Mark Carney, but crumbling in terms of its Confederacy, crumbling in terms of its patriotism. This country is going to fold like a cheap deck of cards if globalists in charge of the World Economic Forum get in and have their claws sunk into our economy. Common sense Canadians are going to have to try to consider, how do we make this an appealing election to try and garner those votes? A lot of this, don't forget, are people who do vote Conservative who say, what's the point? Why should I bother? My vote doesn't matter. If you're in any part of the country right now, you should be talking to everyone you know and convincing them. Get up, go to the polls, stand in line, vote. Be there for as long as you have to be. Your vote does matter. Every vote down to the last one is going to matter in this election. If any election is the one to get involved in, it's this one. It's all or nothing. Chris with the 279 super chat. Michael Barrett was on Northern Perspective. Good for Michael Barrett, I guess. I don't see Michael Barrett going on a lot of other channels, though. I've heard a lot of people, and again, I don't watch those channels, but I've heard a lot of people say they don't want isolation on one channel because it shows favoritism to the point that you question how those people have those connections. It looks corrupt. Just like it does when people only go on True North, or people only go on Rebel News, or people only go on CBC or CTV with Vashi. You have to open up your Rolodex and say, I'm willing to go on with anybody who wants to give me the time and I can fit it into my schedule. And that's not me saying it's a jealousy thing or come on this channel. I'm talking about every channel that's out there. Every channel that has pumped up their numbers for the last 2.5 years. Pushing conservatives, getting people excited, getting communities gathered to rally around these politicians. Again, how many people in this community don't usually vote and have decided in this election they're going to?
Yeah.
How many people do you think follow Moose on the Loose or Clinton Jaws or Sunshine or the Pleb who sit and say, I got to vote this time around? People who have gotten really involved in politics because of these channels. That's where you want to go and pander to your base. Jancor, $2 super chat. Make it a sexy election. Oh, yes. Fight like a tiger. Jay Peterson with $10 super chat. I have never seen Dane Lloyd at any event here in this riding, much less going door to door.
Yeah.
I've reached out to Dane Lloyd and I've told him, I'll give you my endorsement, but I want an interview and I want you to tell us how you guys are going to fix things for us in the next election. Yeah. Stephanie Cousy was happy to come on this channel, and she's still happy to come on this channel anytime I ask her to.
Yep.
I had a conversation with her less than 2 weeks ago, and I welcome her in anytime she wants to come and talk. And again, she has my endorsement. She's had my vote since becoming an MP. And I will happily endorse her moving forward because she does a good job. Dane Lloyd, if he wants to keep his seat, he's going to have to work for it.
Yeah.
And as a new resident of Spruce Grove, he's going to have to convince me to give him his vote. Again, if I'm voting for Pierre, I kind of have to vote for Dane Lloyd, but I want to hear what he has to say. Earl becoming a new member of the Patriots Club. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Patriots Club. Save Canada, $5 super chat. If Pierre wins, we better self-defense laws from person in government. I want castle laws and open carry. Hell, make a Canadian amendment.
Yeah.
I agree. No government has the right to take stuff from us. Becca gifting 5 unacceptable fringe memberships to the Patriots Club. Wow. A lot of new members tonight, guys. Thank you so much, Becca. I really appreciate your guys' generosity tonight. You guys are amazing. A lot of new members, by the way, joining into the Patriots Club for next week's gifted member, or
Yes.
not gifted memberships, next week's draw for Patriots Club members. Again, if you're a member of the Patriots Club, next Friday and the last stream of every month, we do our giveaways. One lucky Patriots Club member is chosen at random and gets to pick any item from our shop free of charge for supporting the channel. Steph with the 279 super chat. If Alberta goes from Canada, Quebec will die.
100%.
Absolutely it will. Denny's saying Canada has a choice. Do they want a united country or split into two? Yeah, that's why I'm saying it's the country's last stand.
Yep.
Sorry, not sorry, saying Dane was a great MP to have, in my opinion. Used to live in his riding, moved last year. My new riding kind of sucks MP-wise. Yeah, I like Dane Lloyd. I've watched a lot of what he's done in the House of Commons over the last little while. I think Dane's got some good ideas. Again, I'd like for him to sit down on the show, talk to his base, get people familiar with the Conservatives again. I am reaching out to the Conservatives between now and Election Day to get as many MPs on this channel as we can. We want them promoting again. Pierre gets my endorsement. Stephanie gets my endorsement. Any MP who comes on this show between now and Election Day is getting my endorsement because I'm going to ask them the questions that I want to know, what they're going to do for us moving forward. And if they can convince me they're worth the votes, they'll gladly get the Fringe's endorsement. Jay Peterson gifting 10 unacceptable Fringe memberships to the Patriots Club. Thank you so much. Very generous. John Boko, Quebec will struggle. I couldn't agree more. I missed somebody here in the honorable mentions. Canadian guy, $2 super chat. Mark Carney is a who's a her. Alrighty then. Thank you for the super chat. Susan with a 279 super chat. It's early days. They're waiting for the writ drop. Yes, they are. Thank you for the super chat. Parank with the $2 super chat as well. We need King Ralph Klein clone to lead this country. Yeah, it'd be nice. But poor old Ralph. It's too late. We don't have the technology. Goldwing Ben, $5 super chat. At Steph, we would not die, but it would force the lazy ones to work for a change. I missed the beginning of that conversation, but thank you, Goldwing Ben, for the $5 super chat. I really want to see the Conservatives come out full force. All of them. Don't just go on one channel. Don't just play it safe. Come out, talk to your people. This is the time to get their votes. This is the time, again, to convince a lot of people. Again, there's over 700 people on the multi-stream watching this channel right now. I've seen other live streams that have 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people sitting in there. How many of those people don't vote on a regular basis? Your job is to convince your constituents it's time to get out and do your due diligence as a Canadian. It's time to vote. It's time to put that X on the ballot and vote for your country's future. It's too much at risk this time around. It's not just one guy gets in and some people don't like them or some people him and haw over policies.
No, this is the state of the country.
This is the rest of Canada's future at stake. As the Avenger said, whatever it takes. We got to win this one, guys. Arthur, okay, $5 super chat. I'm happy to support you, Derek Tiffany. Agree with most of your views, and I'm patiently waiting for the Dragon's Lair interview. We'll get Dragon's Lair on here at some point to talk. Again, thank you so much. I know that's an ongoing gag. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Arthur. I'm excited for an election, but I'm also scared at the same time.
Yeah.
This next month is going to be absolutely crazy. Where we go from here is anybody's guess. But it's not just Pierre's election to lose, it's ours. We need to rally behind the Conservatives now more than ever if we want things to get better. If you're PPC, now's the time to really look at the statistics and say, look, they're not going to get any seats. We don't want Mark Carney winning the seats. It's against my morals, but I'm going to vote Conservative. Do the right thing. It's not me telling you how to vote. It's me saying, look at it strategically. Look at the future of this country. Look at what's going to happen under each rule. If you still vote PPC, that's your choice as a voter. But I think what everybody needs to do here is think about this. Again, as somebody said before, do you want two countries or do you want one unified that's going to unleash the economic power of what this country is capable of? It's in Canadians' hands. It's in Canadians' hands to make it too big to rig. CB saying, show the sad little houses the libs want us to live in.
Yes.
We're going to get to that. Let's get to it. I feel bad. CB, I got on a rant about patriotism. I love my country, you see. That's all it is. Let's take a look at this catalog. He's designing a catalog. Yay! Let's take a look at this. How much of our tax dollars, does any CB, do you know how much of our tax dollars went into this? How much did we pay for this? Housing design catalog, standard designs to make home building easier. Here's regional designs for local needs. Let's take a look at Alberta because that's where we live. Let's take a look at what they got here.
Oh.
Look at this nuttery. Look at this.
Oh.
Doesn't this look like something out
It's
of
a literal box.
a row house? A row house. 794 square feet for a gross building area. Now, one of these row houses is probably going to cost, does it say how much it's going to run? No.
Look at the layout.
Let's take a look at the layout here. Can we zoom in? We can't zoom in. I don't know how well you guys can see it down there.
Yeah, so you've got...
It's basically a living room, kitchen all in one, and then a bedroom off to the side.
It's an apartment.
It's an apartment. 794 square foot. This is probably going to run somewhere in the $250,000 range in Calgary at the very minimum. Joe Lyman, smells like communism. I'd say these houses will be $250,000 to $300,000 for these 700 square foot row houses. And I'm basing that on what I currently see for townhomes in Calgary. Absolutely sad. Absolutely sad. Now that's a row house. As we go down, they have
there's more row houses.
More row houses at 14, 15 square feet. These would run you somewhere in the vicinity in Calgary again. I'd say of around 400,000, 410. Arthur, okay, gifting another Unacceptable Fringe membership to the Patriots Club. Thank you so much. Unbelievable, guys. You're so supportive tonight. Cheridon saying those sell for $600K in BC. There you go. Delicam 1 with a $5 super chat. Danielle just said there will be civil unrest in Alberta unless. Yes, we covered that at the beginning of the stream. Thank you for the super chat. Look at the floor plan here. This one's a little bit larger, so you can see it here. Number one, obviously, is your entry.
Kitchen, bedrooms in the back.
2 is your living room. Here's your kitchen or your dining area. 4 is your kitchen. 9 is your mechanical, so your circuitry, everything else.
Heater, all that stuff.
Furnace. 6 is a washroom. 7 is what, laundry?
Yep.
Yep. And then you've got a main bedroom and another bedroom over here. It's a box. It's a box. This is pathetic. This is going to be somewhere between 400,000 and 500,000 in Calgary.
More.
14, 15 square feet. Like, and don't these look bland? Like, does anybody want to buy these? Would anybody want to live in these?
A sixplex.
A sixplex. Now, this is what I would call prime Jeet housing, where everybody and their cousins could live. 5296 square feet. This house would be full of beds.
But that's got 6
units.
Units in that 5,000 square feet.
Somebody who may or may not have come to this country with a lot of free money from the government would purchase one of these properties to essentially rent it out to family members.
There's no style to them. It's just so plain.
Have you read about the Century Initiative? Something that Carney fully supports. He really would be the end of Canada. I haven't read that, but I'll take a look. Thank you for the super chat. Marika joining us as well. Carney wins. Trump offers easier green card for U.S. to go there, and we all leave. That's another reality of Canada if Pierre doesn't win. We'll see, I guess. I mean, look at this place. Look at the sixplex. The floor plan is disgusting. It's essentially just a bunch of units. What you would see in Calgary as well. Now, keep in mind, we've seen these in areas like Killarney in Calgary, where people who have old school bungalows with large lots, they'll bulldoze the house and they'll build one of these duplexes. Usually they would build one of these sixplexes and they'd sell it for probably $2 million.
There's no character to any of these homes.
No.
Like, they're so plain.
John saying ghetto houses. Well, they'd be occupied.
Yeah.
They'd be occupied by those who want ghetto houses. Somebody said no master bedrooms.
What does BC's look like?
Let's take a look. Let's see what BC's got on the good old, because somebody had said how much they were in BC.
Same thing, no character. They look like shipping containers.
An accessory dwelling.
Oh.
So like a tiny home. 540 square feet. Look at this floor plan. This one's a little larger, so we can go through this one together. Here's your entryway. Number 7 is your laundry. 6 is your washroom. So you walk through the door. Here's your laundry. Here's your washroom. Here's your closet. Storage. Here's your kitchen. Here's your eating area. Here's your living room down here. Bathroom. Your mechanical and your bedroom. That's it. And a 500 square foot box.
That's like a mother-in-law suite.
It's like a mother-in-law suite or like a carriage house.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you a 540 square foot like that would probably cost 500 grand. $500,000.
No.
In BC.
BC, yeah, for sure. You're still in Alberta.
Oh, am I back in Alberta? Sorry, I hit the back button. Here's a duplex, 2,800 square feet. This would be over $1 million. Over $1 million. And there's the floor plan. 2 small units. Again, somebody who has a larger property would probably bulldoze, rebuild this on there, and then cash in.
Yep.
That's what this would be.
Because for one unit, you could sell it for what?
Somebody said show Ontario. Let's show Ontario.
Yep. Oh, wow.
Accessory dwelling in Ontario, 630 square feet. Look at the tiny house. It's a shed. You're living in a shed. Oh, you just got to go get your kitties and live in your shed. Make a living fixing shopping carts. Here you go. You go in the front door. Here's your closet, your living area, your eating area,
Can you
kitchen.
imagine cooking in that long kitchen?
Snatch saying they're the size of a large shipping container. Yeah, like a sea can.
They look like shipping containers.
It's like a sea can. Here's your bathroom, bedroom. Oh no, that's not bathroom. This is
mechanical.
Mechanical. Your mechanical's off your living room.
Storage and
mechanical. So you could fit a couple boxes in there.
Maybe. It's a closet.
Maybe a body. I don't know. We'll see. And then you've got a bathroom and a space over here. You know what, guys? Forget Spruce Grove. Let's sell our house and we'll buy one of these. Let's live in one of these. Don't you want to do that? Doesn't that sound like we're living the dream? Isn't that disgusting? That a joke that this is what our government thinks people want. Keep in mind the amortization over these to say it's affordable housing is 35 years. 35 years. Go live in your box. You're basically living in a hotel room.
And you can't afford to do better because that's all you got.
This is what life is like under the Liberal government if they win.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
100%.
This is why I say that even if you vote PPC, you got to start changing your strategies. Now's the time to switch.
There you go. I have my closet for rent. We should all do that, Thomas Wolfe.
Oh, let's rent a closet. $1,000.
I got one too in Spruce Grove.
The CMHC Condo King is pimping these out to the houses of the future. That's part of the problem with CMHC. In fact, that was the biggest thing our bank got mad at us for when we sold this house and got our new one was I said, look, I'm willing to re-up and pay down my mortgage faster. I'll do a 25-year again because I don't want an insured mortgage anymore. I don't want to be on CMHC. I don't like them. And they said, well, why would you do that? I said, because anytime we need a deferral, anytime there's an emergency, anytime something comes up, they're right on our tail. We're paying a bunch of money out the window for them for nothing. They're insuring the bank. Why should we be paying for it? The bank should be paying for that insurance, not the consumer.
Yeah.
Forget it. No average home should be more than $500,000. Well, that was, it's funny when we sat down with our lawyer today, we went and sat down with the lawyer to finish signing off everything with the new house. And he asked, he looked at us and said, oh, you're going to Spruce Grove. We said, yeah. He said, why? And we told him flat out, we wouldn't be able to afford a house the size that we bought in Spruce Grove. We bought a 2,400 square foot home. To get that, and now we paid, we'll say less and around the $500,000 mark. But that house in Calgary would have cost $950,000. I said, there's no way we could afford it. We would never be able to afford to buy a house like that in Calgary. Our mortgage would be $4,000 a month. $3,500-ish. Who can afford that? The guy buying this house, this is a 1,500 square foot home, and he put down the bare minimum down payment. And I know that because they negotiated some money coming back to him for some of the issues that they found with the inspection. And they said that he wanted cash because he's a first-time home buyer and he didn't have any cash left over. So he put down the bare minimum. His mortgage on this property next week when he takes possession is going to be $3,500 a month before he pays his property taxes, his utilities, his food, his fuel, his car payments. That's insane. Houses aren't for elites. They're for everyone.
They should be.
It's an investment. You're investing in yourself. You're growing your future. Housing shouldn't be for those who come to this country with a shit ton of money who just want to rape and pillage everybody financially, not physically.
Yeah, but how many times do we have to sign in the papers today that we were a Canadian resident?
Well, that too.
Yeah.
Carnage Carney becoming a member for 6 months. If Alberta separates, we need to be on our own, not 51st for at least 10 years. I would agree with that. We at least need to have a deal, though, for our oil.
Yeah.
So we're not landlocked. It's housing has gotten so stupid. You know, I told the lawyer that we wanted to get away from crime. We wanted to get away from the safety issues in our neighborhood. We wanted small town life for the kids, smaller town, I guess. I mean, 40,000 people isn't exactly small town life.
No, but it's still not.
It's still smaller than a big city.
Close enough to a city that I could still find work.
A lot of different variables at play, but I said at the end of the day, it's the cost of living.
Yeah.
I can pay down that mortgage in less than 25 years. And what's really funny is that the house next door that had the same floor plan as ours shot up a considerable amount and sold the next day. Our realtor said, you bought at the right time. I said, why are people paying these exorbitant prices for houses? Why? They shouldn't be. Even if you're coming from a rich province, and when I say rich province, I mean like if you're moving from BC or Toronto or anything like that into Alberta where the houses are more expensive and you're selling, you have more equity to put down on a house here. Don't spend just because. People need to start saying, I'm not going to pay that. And I'm saying that as a homeowner. I would happily say my house is worth less.
Yeah.
If people were getting the right deals on their properties. It's not fair. It used to be that you would buy a house and your first week's pay every month would be your mortgage. And you were supposed to have your other 3 weeks to cover your bills, to save, invest, put in a vacation fund, rainy day fund, look after your family. Not anymore. Now it's you need a second job just to be able to pay for those things after your mortgage. And then the government's gonna tax you to hell anyways. Yeah. Joe says try breaking six-figure salary in a town with less than 100K people. It's unreal. We looked at multiple towns before Spruce Grove. And it's not to say Spruce Grove was our last choice.
No.
Spruce Grove was probably one of our top 3.
100%.
But we looked at, where certain family live across Alberta, where we wanted to be, access to certain things for the kids. And we started looking at jobs and what's available and saying, why are we going to live in this town over this town when it costs more to live here just because of a name? Just because of a few amenities. It's stupid the way they justify what people pay for housing these days. Live in a van down by the river, says Jancor. on a steady diet of government cheese. Oh, guys, you guys are great. Let's get Q&A running. Let's get you guys in with Q&A on our final Friday Night Fringe in Calgary. Now, keep in mind, again, like I said, Tuesday night, I will do the final stream from Calgary altogether before we move, because let's face it, Wednesday, Thursday, I may have some videos pre-filmed for Wednesday. Thursday, probably not, because that's when the move is taking place. But then Friday Night Fringe from the new house will happen next week. So with the lack of content, I will have to stream Tuesday night, a final stream with Mrs. Fringe, hopefully, just so that we can try and make up for the revenue that we're losing by not having video content for you guys. But join us Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific, or 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, usual time. Let's get into the Q&A. Joe Lyman. If you could swap Max and Pierre, would you? God, that's a good question. I really don't know, because I think Max would stand to lose just as much as Pierre, and I would wonder how much Max would be controlled by his PR people. Again, I've had the luxury of speaking with Pierre personally. Even our lawyer today said he has his gripes or his trust issues when it comes to Pierre. But I said to him, look, I like him as a guy. I've talked to both of them personally.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's where I have a bias, is that I've spoken to them off camera, face to face. I just like Pierre more. So probably not. But that's a good question.
How's Dragon's Lair tonight, Arthur? He's doing good. Very good.
Getting ready for the garage. Goldwing Ben with a $5 super chat. I pay 53% income tax here in Quebec, and over that, 15% taxes on mostly everything. It's ridiculous how much we put into tax. I'm sorry to hear that. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Mrs. Rex Murphy saying, I'm so happy for your new move. Godspeed. Thank you. Again, I didn't realize we had so many viewers around Edmonton, Spruce Grove area. You guys are all fantastic. You've been so welcoming. I can't tell you how much we're looking forward to next week. Thank you. Thank you again for your kind words. Would you want super speed that only worked if you were naked? No. God, no.
Would you?
I wouldn't want super speed even if I was clothed. That would be dangerous.
I would definitely run.
Arthur, no, not the garage. Well, look, we got to get everything in the garage for the movers. It's how it's going down. It's you're not voting for the guy, you're voting for the politician.
Yes.
That's a difference you need to do. Yes. I get it. But I have a bias because I know their policies, but I also know them personally, and I kind of combine it. I do try to separate when going to the polls.
Yes.
But I still believe in my heart of hearts that Pierre is the best selection that we have at this point. Mike TV Dub, I miss Rex Murphy. You know, I had the joy of speaking with him one time before he passed, and he was an absolute gem. Kind, very patriotic, amazing journalist. I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
Hold on. There's a whole bunch of question marks.
CB saying, how many shovels do we need to keep our stuff safe from the bad guys? As many as you can get.
Too many.
Too many. Wish it would have been Yorkton, Saskatchewan, says Burger Bob. I've been to Yorkton. I don't think I could live in Yorkton. It's too, I mean, Spruce Grove gets cold, but Yorkton is like real cold in the winter. I don't think I could live there. Mike Freedom Honey joining us. Are you going to make a trip out to Beaver County? It's about an hour east of you.
Yeah, maybe.
At some point, I would like to, Mike. Of course, I'd love to get Mike on the stream. Makes his own honey. I don't know if you know this. And his wife has an amazing company, Calendars That Curse. I'm hoping to do business with her again in the future. If one way or another, we'll be promoting her in some way, shape, or form. But I'm hoping to get out to Beaver County at some point, Mike. It's good knowing we're closer to the Beaver County militia. Will your show change atmosphere if Carney and the Libs win?
No.
I don't know what you mean by atmosphere. I think what's important is cooler heads are going to prevail, but it's important to just bring truth as much as possible.
Call them out on their crap.
I guess I'll still try to be as comical as I can, because those are going to be some dark years. I really can't predict where this channel would go.
Every show would be in mourning.
Who would make the best prime minister? Fringe. Me. This guy.
Me.
Nobody could run this country better than Unacceptable Fringe, let me tell you. First thing we'd do, we'd kick out all illegal immigrants. We would build a wall across the country, 300 foot high. And if you were going to come into the country, you would have to come in legally. There would be no taxes on overtime, no safe havens for those in dresses who want to read stories to children. We would only acknowledge 2 genders in this country. All those who commit crimes that are from other countries would be deported, sent back to their countries to be dealt with accordingly. I would run this country like a juggernaut if I was the prime minister. Let me tell you. And no handouts from corporate idiots. What else do we have in the Q&A here? West of Edmonton is mostly blue. I've been told Spruce Grove's a really good conservative town. That's my understanding, that west of Edmonton's pretty blue as well. Is there can you do walk-in imitating Trump? An impression within an impression? That would be really tough. Let me try working on that, because boy, I'd probably slaughter it if I tried right now.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, it's the juggernaut, bitch. Only some people are going to get that joke. Here's food for thought. I wanted to get on this one. Mark could get a security clearance month before he was appointed, so why can't he disclose his conflicts of interest? Because he's guilty.
Yeah.
It's.
Will you run for mayor?
Will I run for mayor? You know, I've mentioned it before. Somebody from Spruce Grove's council reached out and asked if I wanted to consider, because they'd heard about my run in Calgary. If the opportunity presents itself and I feel that it's necessary, yeah, maybe I'll run for mayor in Spruce Grove. It's a lot easier to convince 40,000 people to vote for me than 2 million. So a little bit of fence sitting over there, but I think I could get it done. JD, after buying my first house, I still don't get how banks control your interest rates. 2.5, then renew at 4.5. Can't the government put a stop to this? It needs to change. So that's a good question. I really don't know how the banks work, because what's funny is, if you've been following the channel, we conditionally sold our house back in October. And we thought we were moving to Spruce Grove back then. The buyers walked, and at that time, interest rates were high. The Bank of Canada had yet to lower their interest rates. And in fact, since then, I even said to Mrs. Fringe, by pulling off the market, waiting until February to get back on market, I said, you know, at that time, the Bank of Canada was set to lower their rates 3 times.
Yep.
And they did. And what's funny is that when we purchased the new house a few weeks ago,
the banks had not put that into effect.
The banks have not lowered their interest rates from when we were approved in the fall. It was the same interest rate. Now, I had to negotiate that and get it lowered, and fight with them on that, because I said it doesn't make sense. But they just said, well, other banks aren't following suit, so this
we're
bank
not going to either.
Isn't either. What has to happen is, there are laws when it comes to things like credit card interest, where it's called usury. If you haven't heard of usury, it's that certain companies can't charge an interest rate. I believe it's over 29%, or it's considered usury because it's out to basically bleed you dry. Not that 29% is any better.
Sorry.
But they need to put a usury type law in effect, that if interest rates are lowered by the Bank of Canada, banks should have to follow suit. I would like to see something to that extent. The banks are crooks. Everybody in business are crooks. They're all in it to make money.
They're out for themselves, never for the people.
I agree with this question. The interest rates need to change in the banking institutions.
Yep.
It would be nice if there would be some form of law there. Again, when they talk about making houses affordable, if the government could find a way to come in to say that if the Bank of Canada is at these rates, banks must follow suit within 14 days or something like that. Joe's saying the banks aren't lowering because they can't afford it. Well, I mean, that very well may be so, but if you're taking $80,000 in interest from somebody over 25 years, I think you can probably have a little wiggle room somewhere. I mean, our last mortgage renewal back in 2020 was at 2.9%. Our newest purchase that we're going into next week is at 4.4. So if the banks could afford it at 2.9, they can afford to come down. And they should. Why don't we have other banks from other countries in Canada? That's a good question. I'd ask the government that one. Donald Trump has been very frank that he says American banks aren't allowed to operate in Canada. They should. They should be able to. I agree. Yeah. Think of the inflation on that over 25 years. I get what you're saying, Joe, but the problem is that it comes down to affordability. Again, the only people who can afford houses are people that are either already in the market or people that have come to Canada with a boatload of money. And they get the advantage over hardworking Canadians. Could the government pass a law where houses and loans are kept at 1.5? I don't think so. I don't know. Again, I'm not a financial guru. I wouldn't know the ups or downs of that. At the end of the day, houses need to find a way to become more affordable, whether it's the materials used to produce the houses have to come down again, or the rates got to come down. Something's got to give, because people can't, even this house, you know, we had this house listed at roughly $600,000 because that was the going rate in Calgary. But even our realtor said, do not go above, because a lot of people getting into the market cannot afford a home above $600,000. They can't get the approval unless they're coming from a city like Toronto, where they already owned a home, or they were saving up forever and just gave up and moved here with a large down payment. They just can't do it. OCD. I was called by a poll last week. First question was, if there was an election, who would I likely vote for? Wouldn't accept my choice for Conservative and hung up. Polls are fake. Yes, they are. In fact, I had a call this week. Same thing. Why is Rick asking Mrs. Fringe to blink? Blink, Mrs. Fringe? I don't know. I had a call from a poll earlier this week. Same thing. Who would you be likely to vote for if there was a federal election? They said Conservative. They said, okay, well, thank you. We don't think you're going to fit the criteria for this poll. And they hung up the phone. I mean, that's why I say you don't believe these polls.
They're only taking the ones that matter.
They're taking the ones to give a result for those who have paid for the poll. Dirk saying I had the same call. There you go. That's why I keep telling people when they're saying, look at the polls, look at the polls. Guys like Marty up north who have a lot of influence on Twitter are always saying, look at this new poll. Look at, like, even the plebs saying, look, certain sites are now in favor of Mark Carney over Pierre Poilievre. It's all bought and paid for.
Yeah.
Just ignore it. I'll say it.
Fake news.
I'll say it again of what I said Tuesday night on the stream. If you think that the polls have any balance or any relevancy, remember when Trump went against Hillary.
Yeah.
And the day before, they were already announcing Hillary as the first female president. They said it was going down. Trump had no chance. Trump was only going to get about 20 to 15% of the whole vote. He beat her. Nothing is set in stone until election day. Don't buy the polls. Snatch saying I don't trust the polls. They seem forced.
Yep.
Yeah. Bought and paid for. How old is your new house? It's brand new. Brand new. They just finished it, what, 2 months ago? I think. I mean, they were still putting in the last bits and pieces when we put through the purchase. So it's brand spanking new. Again, we wouldn't have had that opportunity had we have not left Calgary for a more affordable town.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem. You know, when I was talking with Stephanie Kusi, her people were saying, well, how come you're leaving Calgary? I said, we can't afford to live here. And she says, well, isn't YouTube good for you right now? Isn't things like your wife has a job? And I said, it has nothing to do with the income. It has to do with 3 kids in a house, 1,500 square feet. We bought this house when we had 1 child, moved into it unknowing we were expecting our second, and then had a third. Those kids are getting bigger. They need more space. We can't afford to upgrade our home after paying into this city for 10 years on our own mortgage. That's ridiculous. There should be enough equity in the house that you can afford to take a mild step up. But there was nothing. So why would we stay? 3 hours north, and we've got our dream home. Brand new house. What is it Ken calls it? The Mojo Dojo Casa House? That's
I did see a question asking if I had a job yet. I don't.
Tiffany does not have a job yet. Well, she has one job. She's going to be working with the Fringe.
Yesterday was my official last day with my job. Which
it was actually nice.
Crazy.
We picked Mrs. Fringe up from work, me and the kids. Went for lunch.
Yeah, it was.
Had a good day. Had a good final day. Kids finished up school. I mentioned on Tuesday night, we pulled my son out early due to certain reasons. My daughter finished up school yesterday, had a chance to say goodbye to her friends. I can't believe we're 4 days away from the movers showing up.
Yep.
I mean, it's happening real fast, but I'm so excited to get to Spruce. I'm excited to get out of a house full of boxes.
Yes, to be able to live again. I mean, my kids are like so stir crazy.
Keep in mind, a lot of our house has been packed since August.
It has.
We packed up about half of this house in August when we were staging and trying to sell it in the fall. And then we didn't unpack that stuff because we knew.
So when we unpack, it's going to be like Christmas all over again. Because there's going to be so much stuff we forgot we even had.
Does your house have a blue roof? I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to answer that because I don't want people looking for my house. And I know why you're asking. I know why you're asking about the blue roof. Rename Spruce Grove to Fringe. There you go. We'll start a petition. Fringe Grove. Radio Reaction chiming in. I was talking to a young waitress tonight about having our 38-year anniversary. Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
And she's fed up. She isn't deceived by the Liberals. She's upset what happened to Canada in 10 years. I think we're going to see a lot of that at the polls. When you move in, you can celebrate the move by buying a Cybertruck. And Mrs. Fringe said she will disown me if I ever bought a Cybertruck. Not that I could afford one.
I want a real truck. Metallic purple.
I like Cybertrucks.
Yeah, I don't. Not happening.
I like Elon. I think he's a great guy. He's a wonderful guy.
You would buy it if we could ever afford it.
I like the interior.
And then somebody would freaking light it on fire.
I don't like the way they look, but I like the interior. I don't like the outside.
I can't get past the outside.
JD, I sent you a link for the job. Well,
nice.
Thank you. Well, we'll take a look at that. Thank you very much. Mrs. Fringe wants a manly truck.
I do.
Yeah. I've seen a few Cybertrucks around Calgary, actually.
Yeah.
There's one in my neck of the woods that's always around.
I see them downtown a lot.
Are Cybertrucks even comfy on the inside? Yes, I've sat in one at a car show. They're very, very comfortable. Spacious as well. Like, there's a lot of room when you sit in there. Kind of similar to like a Nissan Titan truck. Like, they're actually very nice. Feels like, you know what it is to me? I'm a big fan of Back to the Future. My favorite movies of all time, no pun intended. It just reminds me of like a Back to the Future 2 car. I think that's why I like it. It's what does Mrs. Fringe do? She was an executive admin / contracts admin within oil and gas. She's got 20 years in oil and gas as an admin in both payroll and contracts.
Yeah, sell it.
Mrs. Fringe has done a whole lot of work. She does great jobs, only the best. But none like the job she's going to do for Unacceptable Fringe.
We'll see.
Mrs. Fringe, you're hired.
We have plans.
We have big plans. In fact, I can't wait to get the new studio going. I can't wait for you guys to hang out. A little bit of a different set of views here. I'm going to have some nerd stuff in the background, but no more arcades. Dragon's Lair will stick around. I think Dragon's Lair's family on this stream, so Dragon's Lair will stick around in the new studio. But the arcades themselves will be leaving because Mrs. Fringe has given me the den in the new house as my new arcade. So that'll be fun. There
you go, Darren.
Where? This?
Tell me, yeah.
Tell me where your house is, and I will put out the conservative lawn sign for you. Not happening. Not happening. Not doxing myself on the stream. It's somewhere between Highway 16 and the city limits of Spruce Grove on the west side. There you go. It's somewhere from the east entrance of Spruce Grove to the west exit of Spruce Grove. Burger Bob, I want the games. I just can't anymore, guys. I gotta have it a little more professional. But don't worry, now I get to bring in all my cool little nerdy memorabilia, like movie memorabilia.
Got so much you haven't even seen.
My hoverboard, my Back to the Future gear, my Marvel stuff, lightsabers. It's all going to be in the background. I can't wait. Can't wait. You guys have to come down to the States. You know what? I wanted to go to Vegas recently. Mrs. Fringe said no.
We won't be able to afford it for a long time, but
it's the exchange rate. I want to. I'm not one of those people. I'm not going to America.
No, I definitely want to go to America.
I'd love to go to America. We go to America quite a bit. We went last summer to
Washington,
Oregon, and Washington.
Yeah.
We went to Great Wolf Lodge. We took the kids to Grand Mound, Washington.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to Astoria and check out the filming locations for Kindergarten Cop.
Kids were kind of tired of being in
Goonies.
the car.
Kids were fed up, so we didn't do it. beautiful part of the country. Absolutely gorgeous. That drive-in. Did you guys know there was a town called George Washington in Washington State? I thought
Kinda
that was
cool.
so hilarious. But we drove from Spokane through to Grand Mound, Washington, and the drive near the end when you start getting into the mountains, I thought was more gorgeous than even when you go through like Canmore, Banff in the Rockies. Like it was absolutely stunning. Gorgeous part of the United States. Absolutely amazing trip. Derek and Tiffany, Rex says the British Virgin Islands are cool because they offer stunning beaches, crystal clear waters, and a laid-back vibe, making them the perfect tropical getaway.
That would be cool.
If I went to
I like relaxing. He likes loud and crazy.
We're removing that one. Guys, no promotion of other channels in here. We've said that before. Spokane gives me memories. I quite like Spokane. It was a nice town.
Driving through Seattle was different.
Aside from that guy getting serviced in public on a hill, there was a guy, somebody went down on a guy on a hill next to a highway on top of a hill.
You didn't notice it. I noticed it.
We called it BJ Hill. Because
and we had to drive by it quite a few times.
And it was right next to the interstate.
Yeah.
You drive by and it was right out in plain day. The guy wasn't hiding nothing, just going at it. And I thought that's like, and it was Mrs. Fringe who noticed it. We were just driving. She goes, "Oh, there's something you don't see every day." Shout out to Spokane. North 49 RC, $5 super chat. I'm excited to see you guys in the neighborhood. Welcome, my friends. Thank you so much. We're very excited to be there. Again, we are going to have a get together. Yes. We'll do a meet and greet at some point very soon into our move, maybe about a month or so into our move. We'll organize that. I'm thinking we'll probably make it in Edmonton, like on the west side, only because there's a lot of people who don't have access to Spruce Grove. Again, a lot of our viewers in that area. So we'll pick somewhere neutral for everybody, and it'll be great. I'm looking forward to it. Arthur, okay, keep the games, Derek. Man, I'm getting dizzy. Dragon's Lair will stick around for you, Arthur. I promise. I'll have Dragon's Lair around on the new set.
Yeah.
The other arcades will go. I'm looking forward to having my own arcade room, my own space, where I can just go and goof off.
This was your own space. The whole basement was yours.
But now it's for YouTube. I need a separate area. Jeez. Minot, North Dakota, or Minnow, North Dakota's allowed too. The only places in North Dakota I've been is Fargo and Grand Forks. When I grew up in Winnipeg, we used to go to Grand Forks every spring break. My parents would go shopping there. A lot of good memories in Grand Forks. Love that place. If you have an Edmonton get together, I will come, says OAO. Okay. We'll try and make it a little more central for people. Looking forward to that. With that said, ladies and gents, we've approached almost the 2-hour mark. Q&A went a little deep tonight, but that's okay, because I've always said, the whole reason we do these streams is for you, the community. A lot of people say you don't get to the politics right away. Well, no. This is like hanging out with your friends. I like coming here and talking to you guys. The show would be nothing. I've said millions of times over, I'm very unacceptable. The rest of you are the fringe. And that's why we love coming here. So thank you to everybody who spent our final Friday night Fringe with us here in Calgary. I want to thank everybody who contributed to the stream tonight. David Bell, Arctic Ian, Ingrid Stewart, Goldwing Ben, Save Canada, Canadian Guy, Jay Peterson, Jerry Leitz, Diane Sylvain, Arthur O'Kay, Save Canada, David Jejna, Paul Poco, Deckham One, Parank Gia. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Ingrid Stewart, I already said that. Earl, Hobbenshield, Carbon Tax Carson, thank you for the gifted memberships again. I think I said Goldwing Ben, Chris Crooks, Jancor, Jay Peterson, Becca CRI, Steph Val, Susan Fahidi. Who else am I missing here? Delicum One. I think I said David Jejna, Carnage Carney. Goldwing Ben, Saved by Grace, North 49 RC. Thank you to everybody who contributed tonight, supported the stream. You guys are amazing. Very overwhelming support tonight. Thank you again, guys. Join me Tuesday night. I don't know if Mrs. Fringe will be here because, again, last minute stuff before the house is.
We'll see how much cleaning I have left.
We'll see. We're pushing for Mrs. Fringe to be here. Hopefully, both of us are here. At the very minimum, you get this.
Yeah.
So come back Tuesday night, regular time, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, for the final Calgary stream. Not sure how this studio will look, if it'll look the same or it'll be completely empty. Either way, the Fringe will be here to talk to you about everything that's happened since hopefully an election has been called and what we're moving into. And I look forward to seeing you guys there. I hope to see you all there on that final stream. Again, you guys have a great weekend. Look after yourselves. Take a little break from the internet. Breathe a little. Good things are coming. Pierre will be our next prime minister. We will make sure this election is won by those who deserve to have it won. Keep your eyes open for any future content hitting the channel. Make sure to like, comment, give a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Will ya? Come on, help out the channel. Help our large Fringe majority grow here on the channel. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Look after each other. Keep your stick on the ice. From myself and Mrs. Fringe, we'll catch you on the next one, ladies and gentlemen. Take care.
Have a good night.